Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. I'm out here on my patio. The sun is shining. I have this bottle of green juice here with me that I've been sipping as I've been doing some research, getting into the day's news to present to our community. Now, what I'm about to present to you today, I'm going to present two things. One is actually headline news in all major outlets all over the country. So you'll see it regardless of whether you go to Fox News or the Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, New York Times. Doesn't matter where you go, it's headline news all over the country. And the second is something that very few people are talking about. And I believe that these two things have an important economic impact for the future of our country. Now, it may seem like what I'm about to cover doesn't have too much to do with our economic future and our financial future. But the thing is, the things that no one really notices are the things that actually tend to make a difference. I believe the truth isn't black and white. I believe the truth is actually hiding in the shadows. Let me start with the thing that no one's really talking about and that I actually happened to stumble on. And what you'll see right now is you'll see an article on your screen, and this is from the CNBC website. And this article basically states that a lot of changes are now happening to the airline industry. Specifically, American Airlines is halting service to 15 small cities after the federal aid runs out in October. So as you know, the CARES Act and all the moves that the government made after the CARES Act resulted in a small bailout to the, well, not a small bailout, but resulted in a bailout to the airline industry. And the airlines now want more money. So what American Airlines is doing is they're actually suspending service to 15 small US cities in October after the terms of the federal aid runs out. So what's going to happen is American is the only airline providing scheduled commercial service to 9 out of these 15 cities, and airlines have been asking for more money, which by the way is going to be taxpayer money. But Congress has yet to reach a deal, as you know, on the new stimulus negotiations, and they haven't even come to a consensus about law about the stimulus checks. Although in principle there is consensus, they haven't come to a consensus about federal unemployment benefits. Those are going to be higher in the list. So what's happening right now is, if you look at this Twitter message from Airline Flyer. So what this Twitter message said is that American Air confirms it's suspending service to 15 markets, effective initially from October 7th through November 3rd. These cities will be dropped from the American Airlines network. Now, this leaves some of these airports, the CNBC reported that it was 9 of them, with no commercial flights. In fact, you'll see this on your screen right here. This is the list of all of the airports that are going to have no commercial flights. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, what does this have to do with me? What does this have to do with the economy? Here's what it has to do with the economy. When there are no commercial flights to a city, even if it's a small city, it creates ripple effects in the economy. The constituents are now angry, and they'll go to their senator, they'll talk to their congressman and say, hey, friends and family aren't, what am I going to do? There's no, there are impacts to the local economy, the pilots, the stewards, all the people involved with those flights now are out of a job. And now, in case you're thinking, well, big deal, just travel to a nearby airport and then drive over. It sounds easy, but a lot of people aren't going to do that. If flights to your city or to your town are cancelled, and by the way, in case you're thinking, well, these are just a few small cities, no, I'll actually show you a nationwide map that'll show you the impact that this is going to create, and it's going to create a ripple effect. All of these things are going to going to result in a lot of angry, a lot of upset local citizens, are going to result in calls to senators, calls to congressmen. They're going to result in lost jobs. It's going to result in a ripple effect throughout the entire economy. So here's the entire list of cities. You'll see all the cities on your screen as we scroll through that list. All these cities are now American Airlines is actually going to cancel commercial flights initially from October 7th through November 3rd. They will be dropped from the American Airlines network. And many of these cities, American Airlines was the only carrier. If you look at these cities, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And now let's see, here's what these 15 route cuts look like on the map of the United States. So you can see that there's a significant sort of spread, if you will. And even though this looks really tiny and really insignificant, it is in many ways significant, because this indicates, again, like I said, this will cause a ripple effect across the economy. A lot of times, things that are not obviously going to cause damage tend to end up causing damage to the economy. And this is the case not only with the economy, but also in many ways with politics. And I believe that, in many ways, we are a country of excess. I've mentioned this in previous videos. The rich keep getting richer, the poor keep getting crushed. And this is American Airlines basically saying, hey, we need to cut some of the unnecessary excess. That's what they're saying. Now, I'm going to show you a story that's front page news everywhere, and I'll tell you what this has to do with the economy and what this has to do with your money in the future. And again, this is not about being partisan. This is not about being red or blue. For me, it's not about being red or blue. It's a red, white, and blue. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I'm American. This story is front page news everywhere. It's front page news on the New York Times. As you can see, it's front page news on the Washington Post. And it's also front page news on Fox News. Now, this is the former Trump campaign CEO. This is Stephen Bannon along with others. So leaders of We Build the Wall online fundraising campaign were charged with defrauding hundreds of thousands of donors. And this is from the Southern District of New York. This happened today. So Stephen Bannon, amongst others, including Brian Colfage, were arrested because they were alleged to have funneled hundreds of thousands of dollars from the organization to Colfage. And they were allegedly profiting from their scheme. Now, if you look at this screenshot on your screen right here, and what here's what's alleged. In total, from the creation of We Build the Wall in January 2019. By the way, I'll tell you what this has to do with the economy, because I do believe that this is going to be, obviously, supporters of the president will say that, look, don't take this seriously. We have nothing to do with Stephen Bannon. At this point in time, the president has nothing to do with his former CEO because, they parted ways a long time ago. But then on the other side, the Democrats will say, look, there's so many convicted felons, around the inner circle of the president. In addition to Stephen Bannon, there's Michael Flynn and there's Roger Stone and all these others. So this is going to become a political battle. But speaking of excess, this is why I wanted to read this out. The defendant received more than $350,000 in donor funds from We Build the Wall, all passed indirectly at the direction and with the assistance of Stephen Bannon and all the others. And this is interesting. Colfage then used those funds to pay for his own personal expenses, including, among other purposes, home renovations, payment towards a boat, a luxury SUV, a golf cart, jewelry, cosmetic surgery, personal tax payments, and credit card debt. So, gosh, that is, things are going to heat up, guys, because at the end of the day, we are in an election year, and whatever's happening right now is going to be used by both sides. And I believe that things are going to get really messy. And I talked about an ace in the hole in one of my previous videos. I believe that things are going to get really nasty on both sides, and both sides, we are very divided right now. Let's just put it that way. And if you saw President Obama's speech last night at the Democratic National Convention, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, the reason I bring up all this is there is a big difference in economic ideologies between the Republicans and the Democrats. If you check out our channel yesterday, you'll see what Senator Rand Paul had to say and what a lot of Republicans believe, their belief about handling our money. And on the other hand, Democrats, including the vice presidential nominee, Senator Kamala Harris, she at one point wanted $2,000 a month. That's something that she had proposed, a proposed stimulus package, $2,000 a month, going 3 months, going 3 months beyond the end of the pandemic, beyond the end of the public health emergency. And by the way, this public health emergency has not yet ended. Governor Andrew Cuomo said that we were at the halfway point. We still have a long way to go. The point is, all this partisanship is going to escalate, and it's going to lead to a culmination during the election. And whichever party wins the House, whichever party wins the Senate, and I have done another video, by the way, on the history of the control of the House and the Senate, whoever becomes the president, that's going to impact our economic future, because the economic ideologies are just so different. They're diverging ideologies. And this, although some of the news may seem like it's partisan or it's sort of blaming one side or the other, the truth is this is the beginning of the divergence leading into the November election. And the party that wins the House, the Senate, and the presidency, by the way, it could be a mixed result. You could have one party win the presidency, another party win the House, another party win the Senate. That could create all sorts of, I don't want to use the word complications, but all sorts of checks and balances, which would then result in even more complications. I mean, look at the situation we have right now. We have a Republican president. We have Republicans who control the Senate, and we have Democrats who control the House, and we have what can at best be described as a gridlock. And I'm sure a lot of my subscribers and viewers can think of colorful language to describe this gridlock. Speaking of gridlock, here's another headline on most of these publications, but it is another controversial headline, and those are the president's tax returns. And again, I believe that if the president's tax returns become public, I believe that there'll be a lot of talking points in the president's tax returns, that's for sure. And if the president's tax returns become public, that in turn will create more division as far as economic inequalities are concerned, because builders get all sorts of tax deductions. It's legal to have tax deductions, but is it fair? You see, there's a difference between what is legal and what is, shall we say, ethical or moral. The two don't always blend together as far as a tax code is concerned. So I do believe that if the president's tax returns become public, we are looking at even more controversy than we have right now. And speaking to that, there was a ruling from a judge that said, and you'll see this article on your screen right now, the president must turn over tax returns to the district attorney. A federal judge rejected the president's argument that a subpoena seeking 8 years of his tax returns was wildly overboard. President Trump has been fighting a subpoena seeking his tax returns for more than a year. And a federal judge on Thursday basically, rejected President Trump's latest effort to block the Manhattan DA from obtaining his tax returns. And this ruling by the judge by the Federal District Court in Manhattan marked a setback for the president in his year-long fight. And it is likely that, I take that back. This conflict has already reached the Supreme Court and could end up there again if the president appeals. So that's where things stand right now, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know about what you think about these unique, unusual developments all happening today. All of these things happen today, and all of them have an impact on your financial health, on your financial future. Let me know what you think of all this. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video at Ignition. If you learned something new, please click like, please click subscribe, please enable notifications so we give you instant updates. You can also get your cell phone out, send a text message with the word ignition or with the word time to 70,000, that's 70000, and then you'll get added to our SMS list. You can opt out at any time. You can also get emails from us, opt out at any time. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda. If you don't know anything about me, check out my introduction on our YouTube channel so you know a little bit about me. I've had the privilege, the honor of living the American dream, and I want to help you understand the news. I want you to make the right decisions for yourself, financially, politically, economically. That's your decision, but I want to give you the right information that will help you make a more educated decision about where you stand. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.